Support Pro Play Games on Patreon.
Hello guys, my name is Yadam and I'm here with Team PPG for a quick deck profile on 2 Musketeers for the Digimon card game. So I've been playing this deck for quite some time and I've tested a bunch of random techs out, and here's where we are today, going back to a more regular schmegular build. So let's get right into it. Starting off with the babies, the main baby in my opinion has to be Mechanoremon. Lets you cycle through your deck, you're drawing, you're discarding. It does everything you want to do because you want to see more cards and you want to put your spells in the graveyard. And as for our 4th egg, there's a lot of debate between this, Pagumon, Sudamon. I like Ghazimon. In the beginning, I just did not have either of the other 2, so I just played Ghazimon. And I mostly just regretted it. But after playing so many games, this deck has difficulty dealing with attack mode, level 7s, which become completely susceptible to a retaliation from the raising. So Ghazimon, oftentimes I'll hatch an egg, place a rookie over it, and I'll let it sit there. If I know they're going to play a deck with a lot of level 7s, and this just cleans them right up. Amazing card. So on to the rookies. We play the one of Alekmon. Alekmon does quite a couple things. It helps versus aggro, and it also has a 4 cost. So it protects you against Ultimate Flare. Once you start going wide off the nail bones, wide off these wards, this card right here mostly lives, and half the time you're just chucking it at security, not carrying, and also clearing at the same time. Amazing card. We play 3 of the new Antman. This Iman is amazing. It does everything that we wanted to do for the deck. We recycle our Beals, even if this card gets trashed, because unfortunately with this deck we don't have true control of the milling aspect. But even if this card is milled, Zwart can bring it back. We get its effects off. We get more Beals. Amazing card. Then for our other rookie, a lot of people play Soundbirdmon, and there's a lot of debate between its efficiency here at the store, at least. I'm not a huge fan of it. The 1 memory chucking a option from my hand doesn't seem like the greatest trade-off. Oftentimes I'm putting the opponent to 6, 7, 5 memories, so gaining 1 and putting them to 4 doesn't really make a difference to Gabubond, Agubond, Jesmon. Nothing's really happening with that. And at the same time, I'm losing an option that I could be using as removal. Because oftentimes people play this deck and just want to dump all the options from their hand and forget that, hey, sometimes Fly Bullet just kills a level 6 or a level 5 and then they have to start all over again. Or Trump Sword or Gwalt. So oftentimes casting your spells and then recasting it off of Beals is amazing value. Then for the other imp, the good old Impmon, mills 3. Sometimes the luck is with you and sometimes he just mills 3 Zwarts and you're really upset. But really necessary to start putting cards in the trash. An amazing card overall. And my favorite rookie, Ghazimon. This card comes in clutch in so many matchups. Lilithmon, Gabu. I can start naming decks, but you'll see more often than not people are gaining memory off the memory boost and off of so many cards nowadays that Ghazimon just puts a wrench in their plans immediately. An amazing card. Terrible in the mirror match, but it gets the job done in so many matchups that it just has to be included in all purple decks. Off to the level 4s, we play 2 Vilemons. There's a debate between 1, 2, 3 of this card. I've been seeing a lot of success with 2. It's really good against some matchups. Versus red, this card is almost, like a god card. They have a lot of difficulty dealing with blockers, especially 6k blockers. This card does it all. Versus Shoutmon. Versus Jesmon, sometimes it doesn't do what you need it to do. And versus Gabubond, it's almost unplayable. But in the matchups where this card is good, it is amazingly good. So definitely a 2 of, bringing it off a Nailbone, bringing it off of the Zwarts. Amazing card. Then we bring out 2 promotes. One of the cards that I think is the most unfair cards to be printed by Bandai since the game's inception. A card with Rush that gets summoned off the graveyard. It's a 6 cost, 6k, like everything about this card, like the stats and everything are just insane. It does everything that purple wants to do and more. The reason I used to play 1 of it because truly you only need 1 and you're just going to keep recycling it. But oftentimes if it's stuck in security and you can't really deal with it, you're going to need a 2nd copy just so that you can get to it faster more than anything. An amazing card. Sometimes this card in some matchups just goes right over Vial for 1, gets me an extra cycle, and chucks into security. Amazing. For our next and first black level 4, we got the Deputy. So there's like two variations of two Musketeers, as I would say. The version with like Deputy and Gun and the version that just completely ignores that they exist and plays just other control cards. I'm a fan of the Deputy and the Gun mostly because A, they're black cards, they facilitate my Tamer, they facilitate my trash, and Gundramon in specific cannot be shuffled back by Bond of Friendship, and that is the reason that I want to include that in the deck. Bond of Friendship matchup is something that I'm speaking about a lot, and it's obviously something that I have difficulty with this deck. Most of my blockers are not doing anything, most of my options don't do anything, and then they just go face, and I can't respond half the time. So I'm trying to tech as much as I can for this matchup, and I think Gundramon and Deputymon really get that job across. As for our last level 4, we have two Mechanoremons versus any aggressive matchup. This card literally shuts down their whole deck. Even in the mirror match, we're mostly chucking rookies at our opponent, 6Ks at our opponent. Mechanoremon says, all right, slow down. Gives me more time to set up, and it's just an amazing card. Comes off as War, 4 cost. It's a black card. Amazing. Then for our level 5s, 2 of Rebellionmon. For a long time, I just was not playing Rebellionmon. I'm still not a huge fan of Rebellionmon, but it's kind of a necessity when it comes to the Ghazimon matchup. I kind of want them to pass a turn, wait a turn, so that I have more time to set up my graveyard, more time to set up my plays, and hopefully try to take the game from them instead of them taking the game from me. And I think this card does it all. It also facilitates Gundramon. If Mechanoremon useless, it goes on top. So sometimes it's also a good cycle. Then for the star of the show, we got 4 Beals. This card really needs no introduction. It's amazing. It does everything for the deck. It's the star. I play 2 Gundramons. Amazing card. Fills up your trash. Plays an option. It's a blocker. It's a black card. Great. I wish its DP was a little higher, but unfortunately, we can't get it all. And our last level 6, I'm testing out 1 Beals Bond. I mean, I play 6 imps that come back from the graveyard. This card can be cycled back by the previous imp, and it's obviously a good tempo card, but it struggles in the early game when I'm setting up the trash. Sometimes in the late game, you want to delete a blocker, go for a game. This gets the job done, and it's very efficient at doing so. So also facilitates level 6 plays. We'll see if I keep it in the deck in the future, but for now, testing 1 of. Then on to our level 7s. We got 2 Omnimon Wards. This card is unbelievably unfair. My favorite Omni by far, crazy strong, deletes cards when it's swinging, it recycles your Beals, it plays minions for you, you go wide, it's aggressive, it's defensive, beautiful. And then 1 Millie. Millie doesn't really serve too much of a purpose right now in the meta besides dealing with Craniumon. But I believe this card's going to be more and more impactful in the future as the machine deck comes out and it becomes a little bit more difficult to handle Machinedramon itself. So I'm testing him out now, seeing how I like the 1 of. Maybe I'm bumping him up to 2. That's mostly why I'm testing him right now. If usually he'd be a 3rd Zwart, but for right now, this is more like a test slot to see how he deals with the current meta, because I know he's going to be necessary for the upcoming meta. On to our Tamers. We got Izzy and Joe giving us a ton of memory. Our opponent goes wide. That's a no-no for 2 ways, Gawal and Izzy. It also cycles off drawing a card off our Mechanories. It cycles off the Rebelli. It cycles off Deputy and Gun. Crazy good card, very strong, giving memory. At first, I was using the purple Duo Tamer, and that was doing a lot of work because I was able to cycle the cards that I wanted. But oftentimes, it was too slow. I never felt like paying 4 memory for the purple Duo Tamer was ever doing anything for me except setting me back a turn. And versus the aggressive matchups, it literally does nothing. So I switched it out for Izzy and Joe, and we're going to see how that goes for us now. We got 2 Mats. Memory Tamer recycles an Imp, recycles a Belsar. It sometimes can help you unbrick hands. Let's say you open a hand of 1 rookie and then a bunch of options. You evolve the rookie, you chuck the rookie at their security, you bring it back with the mat, and then you have another draw/discard outlet. Definitely a great card. Amazing off security, amazing in the late game. I've been testing 2 for a long time, and I've been really enjoying it. As for our options, I'm just going to run through these real quick. Happy bullet showering. Sometimes this deals with sideways level 7s. It's mostly what it does. This card's the easiest to discard out of my hand because there's no way I can trigger it because I do not have a red source. Always discarded, always deals with sideways level 7s, and sometimes can clean up a board of rookies pretty easily. Nailbone. I'm trying to figure out a way to bump this up to 3. This card is amazing. Goes wide. I hard cast this all the time. I recycle it as much as I can. Very strong card. Maybe thinking about putting this one to 3. Gewalt, currently at 2. Versus the matchup, this card is good. It is a god card, but oftentimes, at least at our local, we're not seeing too many aggressive decks, too many rookie rushes. But versus those matchups in specific, this card literally wins you the game. You play it, they have to rebuild the board. You bail, start, play it again, and they basically have to scoop it up. Amazing card. 2 of seems fine, but if you want to bump this up to 3, depending on your local and what you're seeing, I understand. The next card is 4 trumps and 4 fly bullets. Amazing removal cards. They do it all. The reason I'm up to 4 trumps is because, like I said, I hate the Bond of Friendship matchup. Those cards restand all the time, and this card just one-shots them. Ghazimon, it restands off a Savior, no more. So it oftentimes, insecurity in those clutch moments, it can swing the game completely back in your favor. And to do that, we need to play 4 of it. Casting this off your hand isn't terrible, and if you're playing a matchup that they're always going sideways, well, it's really easy to discard as well. So it always gives you discard fodder for your graveyard. And with that, that is the deck profile. That's the 50 card deck that I'm playing for Musketeers. Please remember to like and subscribe to the PBG channel, and if you guys have any questions or comments about the decks, anything you guys want to ask, please leave a comment in the comment section down below. Thanks, guys.